Many ASUS monitors default to a 1 in 44 Hz refresh rate due to limitations in HDMI connections, outdated firmware, or incorrect settings. Let's explore why this happens and the key factors involved. Refresh rate, measured in Hertz, determines how many times your monitor updates per second. Higher rates like 1 in 44 Hz provide smoother gameplay, especially in fast-paced games. HDMI standards limit refresh rates for specific resolutions. For example, 1440p resolution is capped at 144 Hz on HDMI 2.0 to maintain signal quality. This image shows HDMI and DisplayPort connectors. DisplayPort can support much higher refresh rates than HDMI at the same resolutions. ASUS monitor firmware may include artificial limits to ensure stability. Updating to the latest firmware can unlock higher refresh rates. ASUS Display Widget software allows you to adjust monitor settings, including enabling overclock modes that unlock higher refresh rates. Other factors include incorrect graphics card or Windows settings, and adaptive sync technologies like FreeSync or G-Sync that can limit maximum refresh rates if not properly configured. Understanding these factors helps explain why your ASUS monitor might be stuck at 144 Hz. In the following sections, we'll cover how to address each issue to unlock higher refresh rates for smoother gaming. HDMI 2.0 and earlier versions can limit refresh rates, especially at higher resolutions. This cable standard caps certain resolutions to prevent signal degradation. Upgrading to a DisplayPort cable is often the simplest solution. DisplayPort provides superior bandwidth for high refresh rates. To identify your current cable type, look at the connectors. HDMI has a trapezoid shape, while DisplayPort is rectangular with specific pin arrangements. DisplayPort versions provide increasing bandwidth. DP 1.4 supports up to 240 Hz at 440p, while DP 2.0 unlocks even higher rates. HDMI versions show the limitations clearly. Standard and high-speed HDMI cannot reach the refresh rates that DisplayPort provides. Switching to DisplayPort can provide a significant performance boost. Use an adapter if your device lacks a DisplayPort output. In summary, identifying your cable type and switching to DisplayPort can unlock higher refresh rates that HDMI cannot provide. First, download and install ASUS Armoury Crate software from the ASUS website. This application manages your monitor's firmware updates. Open Armoury Crate and log into your ASUS account. This allows access to firmware updates and settings. In Armoury Crate, navigate to your monitor's settings and check for firmware updates. If available, download and install the update. If Armoury Crate doesn't show updates, visit the ASUS support website for your specific monitor model and download the firmware directly. Follow the on-screen instructions to install the firmware update. Your monitor may restart during the process. After updating, access your monitor's OSD menu to enable overclock mode or adaptive sync, which unlocks higher refresh rates. Graphics card settings in NVIDIA or AMD control panels and Windows display settings can override the monitor's capabilities. This can prevent reaching the full refresh rate. In Windows display settings, right-click the desktop and select Display Settings. Scroll to Advanced Display Options and choose the correct refresh rate from the drop-down menu. For AMD Radeon software, open the app and navigate to System, then Display. Here you can set a custom refresh rate to match your monitor's maximum. For NVIDIA users, access the NVIDIA control panel and go to Display Settings to change the resolution and refresh rate. Always verify that the selected refresh rate matches your monitor's maximum supported rate to ensure optimal performance. Adaptive sync technologies like FreeSync and G-Sync prevent screen tearing by synchronizing your monitor's refresh rate with your GPU's frame rate. However, if not configured properly, they can artificially limit your maximum refresh rate. First, enable adaptive sync in your GPU control panel. For NVIDIA users, open the NVIDIA control panel and enable G-Sync. For AMD users, use Radeon settings to enable FreeSync. Next, configure the variable refresh rate range in your display settings. Set the minimum below 30 Hz for smooth, low frame rate gameplay and the maximum to match your monitor's highest supported refresh rate. Ensure your monitor's panel type is compatible with high refresh rates. TN panels excel at fast response times needed for 144 Hz and above, while IPS panels offer superior color accuracy but may have slightly slower response times. When properly configured, Adaptive sync technologies provide tear-free gaming while allowing your monitor to reach its maximum refresh rate potential. Common issues include monitors not being detected in Windows. Start by checking cable connections and using the Detect button in Windows display settings. If the refresh rate won't change after settings, update GPU drivers first. Reinstall if necessary, and ensure monitor firmware is up to date. A case study with the ASUS ROG Swift PG259QN shows switching to DisplayPort and updating firmware unlocked 360 Hz from 144 Hz. For advanced users, creating custom resolutions and refresh rates in NVIDIA or AMD control panels can unlock higher frequencies. In NVIDIA Control Panel, select your monitor and choose a custom resolution above 144 Hz via DisplayPort. Similarly, AMD Radeon Settings offers optimization guides for custom refresh rates. Monitor overclocking beyond specifications can cause instability or damage. Avoid pushing beyond manufacturer specs, as shown in frequency graphs where overclocking increases GPU load. Safety is crucial to prevent hardware failure. Using high-quality cables prevents signal degradation. DisplayPort 1.4 Plus supports higher refresh rates than HDMI 2.0. Check pinouts and use certified cables to avoid bandwidth limits. Experts agree that 90% of stuck 144 Hz issues are due to cable mismatches rather than hardware faults. Proper cable selection resolves most problems. Looking ahead, future trends promise to resolve many current limitations with ASUS monitors. DisplayPort 2.0 is gaining widespread adoption, offering dramatically increased bandwidth that will eliminate cable bottlenecks entirely. HDMI 2.1a is expected to provide ultra-high-speed capabilities, fully supporting high refresh rates without limitations. AI-assisted firmware updates will make refresh rate optimization automatic, detecting and unlocking rates seamlessly. The rise of cloud gaming will push all monitors toward universal 120 Hz support for optimal streaming performance. These technological advancements will make current refresh rate limitations obsolete, providing smoother gaming experiences.